just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday.
This week's topic is going to be sometimes big life changes and moving forward isn't always easy. This is episode 150. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. And like I normally do, sat here for probably the past 20 minutes going, alright, what do I want this week's topic to be about? But the inspiration for this week's topic is kind of comes from the big life changes that we're going through recently. When I say it's not always easy, me and my family are relocating from Nashville up towards Kansas City. Sorry, had a little bit of a indigestion there. So relocating from Nashville to Kansas City, and we all worked our last day at our current jobs within the past couple days. My wife, she had her last day on Saturday. I believe my oldest daughter, she worked her last day, I believe Saturday as well. Which is funny because they both technically Sunday is their last day when they'd work their regular week. Me, I worked my full week. I usually work Tuesday night through Saturday night, get off Sunday morning. So pretty much I still did the same schedule. Just Sunday morning, got off and basically was done. But it's funny because my wife, when she got off, she was pretty upset, because she'd been at her job for 5 years. She'd been the pastry chef at the Mockingbird restaurant in Nashville. So if you visit Nashville and you want to have some great food, definitely check it out. They're definitely really good. I guess when my wife left her last day, she was a little upset because I guess even though they planned a going away party, so Sunday evening we actually went up there. They had free food. They had some of the staff show up. Free good conversation, whatever. So it was nice. But Saturday when she got off, not many of them said much, and so she was a little bit upset about that and stuff. I was like, well, they probably figure that that they'll see you tomorrow. So she's like, yeah, no, it's just kind of would have preferred they seem a little bit more upset about me leaving, whatever, because been there 5 years. I'm like, yeah, I got you. I was like, well, I don't work with anybody. Like, I'm a trucker, so I literally see only a couple people, only deal with a few people per day, whatever. So most of the people I deal with probably don't even know that I'm not going to be here. It'll just be like a month from now, and they'll be like, I haven't seen Lodge in a while. But you know, that's just how it is for me. But so I got off Sunday morning, did what I had to do Saturday night, and it's funny because I came in and had to call in and basically, you know, because they're like, I hate, hey, you're doing such and such, you know. That's the thing when one of my topics was basically about like, you know, when you're being told, when things you're being told are gonna happen or what or not what actually happens, you know. So it's like for the past like 2 months, I'd been basically getting told by my boss, hey, because I was like, literally, I messaged him because I was having trouble every Saturday night shift because they were giving me so much crap to do. It was like, hey, you're gonna do Nashville, Lebanon, Lebanon, Nashville, Nashville, Clarksville, Clarksville, Lebanon, and then they still wanted me to do Knoxville, Kodak, and by that point I had done like 3 or 4 sets, so I'd done like 6 or 8 trailers, and it's like I was gonna run out of time. So I remember messaging my boss and saying like, hey, this is what's been going on the past 3 or 4 weeks. I've had one night I violated my hours. A couple other weekends I came really close. I was like, can you talk to them because this isn't working? Like, I'm literally like struggling to complete everything they want me to do. You know, this just like I'm slammed. Oh yeah. I'll talk to them. I'll look at your hours for the past couple weeks. I'll see where we can make some changes, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. And then a couple days later, he's like, hey, so starting next week, and this was like literally 2 months ago. Starting next week, there's gonna be another driver starting. He's gonna do the Knox or the Nashville Clarksville combo, and you're just gonna do Knox Kodak. Like, cool, that sounds awesome. I'm looking forward to it, you know, because that sounds a lot easier. The next week, oh, same as last week. But didn't you tell me that like that this week you're gonna have a new driver starting doing the Nashville Clarksville, and I'm doing Knox Kodak? He goes, yeah, but he's not starting it, so we have you doing the same thing. And I'm like, but like, boss, like, I talked to you about this last week. I can't do everything they want me to do because I run out of time. Like, this isn't gonna work. He goes, oh, it'll be fine. Okay, you know. So when I come in, I call I call Lebanon to talk to them. Like, hey, Caleb, how's it going? It's Blodge. Hey, Blodge, how's it going, man? Not too bad. I was like, well, I talked to Jimmy, and I was told that there was another driver starting this week. Because every Saturday when you guys want me to do all the different runs and then want me to do Knox Kodak at the end of it, I was like, I don't have time to do it. I run out of time. He goes, well, I don't love that. I'm like, yeah, I don't either. Because like, I'm trying not to get fired, trying to keep my CDL, you know. So it's like, can we do anything? And he goes, well, I really need that Nashville Clarksville combo. And I even said, like, can I do it at the end of it? Can I do Knox Kodak first and then do the Nashville Clarksville, because that makes sense. I could do hit Nash, hit Clarksville, go back to Nash, or go from Lebanon and go straight to Clarksville and back to Nashville, and then it's so much easier. It's like it makes so much more sense. Oh no, because the Nashville Clarksville is a hot load. It has to get done like a lot earlier, so it has to get done first. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense because you bring me out to you guys, you send me back to Nash, back to Clark, and then back to you guys. I was like, it's just a lot more complicated. He goes, I hear you. I just that's just how it is. Like, that just I'm like, all right, well then, like, I don't know what to do because I can't pull this off. Like, there's just not enough time in my 14-hour clock for me to pull all this shit off. He goes, well, he's like, well, Jimmy would get me another driver. I'm like, well, that's what I thought he was doing this week. You know, because that's what he told me last week he was doing. That other driver's gonna be taking the Nashville Clarksville combo, so you just get Knox and Kodak. He goes, why would I shit? I'm like, I'm not surprised. So basically, Caleb was like, well, let me reach out to Jimmy and see what we can do. See if I can get an extra driver. All right, cool. Half hour later, Jimmy messaged me. He was, oh, so they're gonna have you. What they're gonna do is they're gonna have you do East chat instead of Knox Kodak at the end of the night to save you some time or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. That sounds a lot easier. It's like 120 miles versus like 160 or so. A little bit easier to pull off. And I did it. I was still, time was a little bit tight, but it wasn't that bad. I think I probably had like, instead of like pulling back into Nashville with like 4 minutes of my time, I think I pulled back in with like 40 or so minutes of my time. So it was like still in that last hour, but it wasn't like, hey, crap, I better hurry because I'm gonna violate. So did that for like 2 weeks. Had a couple weeks where when I got back and was basically getting ready to do the Chatty's chat, basically I was messaged by my boss, why'd you get back here so late? I'm like, because I didn't get me loaded till 1 a.m. Like, it's not, if they get me loaded when I come in at 10:30, I would be getting back here like 3:30 or 4, not 6, So, well, they're going to send you back to Nashville. Like, okay, I'm not going to complain. I'll take it easier tonight, whatever, Yes, I want the miles, but, after 8 years of being on the road, over the road and whatever, the past 6 years, I've been working for FedEx and, obviously being home every day. But after those 8 years of only being home every couple weeks, and, now with being local and stuff, it's like, you know what? Like, I want the mileage, I want the pay, but at the same time, if you tell me to go home, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take full advantage. I'm gonna not take it for granted. I'm gonna go home and enjoy the downtime. Fuck it, But yeah, the past. So then, like, literally, I come up with within the last 2 weeks of me working my last weekend, and every weekend as we got closer, we're still same as last week. All right, so what's going on with that driver that you're supposed to have? That's supposed to take over? Oh, they're still like, he's hired, but they're trying to clear him with FedEx, whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, Like every weekend, I look forward to Saturday night, hopefully being like, hey, cool, maybe I'll run Knox Kodak and be easy Saturday night. Nope, you're still doing the Nashville, Clarksville, then back to Lears and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I was like, you told me 2 months ago this was going to happen. Well, I know, but you know how it is. Got FedEx is slow, whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah. I just wish that the things that you would tell me would actually be what happened. Because, it's like I'm going like, it's like 2.5 years that I've been driving for him here. And I don't have a problem with him personally, but it's like, as a manager, it's like, it's kind of bugged me, And I know it's not him. I know it's probably FedEx, whatever, but it's still, kind of annoying when you're told this is what it's not. Hey, I'm trying to do such and such. This is what's going to happen next week. Okay, cool. And then that doesn't happen. It's like, all right, as a manager, yeah, you're a good manager, but at the same time, you kind of suck. Because it's like, I'm all about, like, I'm not gonna, like, my wife, one thing she hates about me is the fact that, well, she's used to it now because it's been a while. We've been married for a while, but when I started trucking and, we were living out in PA, there was one point where my wife wanted me to guarantee her, to promise her, to swear to her that I would be back to the parking area, because we had a little staging lot, secured lot, where we had to check in with security, and Schneider National had an arrangement with them, so we would just pull in, we check in with them, didn't have to pay to park. Schneider already took care of it. And so, when I would deliver my last load with Schneider, and I'd make my way towards Fairless Hills, and I would, get in there, check in there. My wife wanted me to guarantee her that I would be there at a certain time on a certain day, and I was like, I can't do that. I was like, I can't promise that. And she said, well, no, I understand that things might happen, but I need you to promise me. I'm like, I can't promise it because if I don't know that I can pull it off, like, I might hit traffic, I might blow a tire, I might run into an accident delay, and then I'll be late, and then you'll be pissed at me for 2 weeks or whatever. It's like, I'm not going to promise it. I'll tell you that I'm going to try. I'll do my best. that's when I'll shoot to be there. But I can't promise that I could be there specifically at that time until I get really close, and then I'm like, all right, cool, I'm definitely going to be there at that time because I'm like an hour away. Like I don't foresee anything happening in the next hour. I should be there. That shouldn't be a problem. But a day or two out, you're like, well, I'm going to try to, but I can't promise it. But with my boss, he's like, this is what's happening. This is what we're going to do. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, a lot of it would sound good, but then of course it's like it just doesn't happen. And it's like, as a manager, you think that like, hey, I'm working on this, I'll let you know if I can pull it off. Okay, cool. But with my boss, there was a lot of times in the past 2 years that I was told that something was going to happen and it didn't come through, didn't happen, whatever. There's always a reason for it. Usually it was blamed on FedEx. I'm like, all right, cool, I understand that, but don't tell me you're going to do it if you can't do it. Don't tell me it's going to happen if you don't know if it's going to happen. Because then it just doesn't happen, and then you're just like shrugging it off. Oh, it's FedEx. Like, yeah, it's just such and such. But, yeah, but you literally told me this was going to happen, though. Like, it was almost a guarantee, and so I, it's like, come on, man. So he and I would kind of butt heads because, like, he would, instead of running a load I was supposed to run, he would tell me, oh, by the way, you're doing the airport run going to chat. I'm like, oh, cool, big money, just giving him crap, And he's like, well, if you want to sit because other drivers have been sitting for a couple of days, I was like, no, obviously I'll do it. But I was like, Jimmy, like, an old other thing I've been told for a while is like, oh yeah, you're gonna be doing the Memphis dedicated, like that's the plan for you, like we're gonna get you on that. It's just been really slow lately. I'm like, yeah, but the last 6 months that's literally been the plan. So it's like, all right, but so but even with all that stuff, it's like, came in, did what I had to do, worked my 5 days, enjoyed my two days off, whatever. And then when I got off Sunday, literally I parked the truck. Well, it's funny because I came in and I talked to the people I had to talk to, like, hey, could you set me up with 2 empties to come over to you guys because run it with you guys tonight. Like, all right, sounds good. Yeah, we got you set up. Like, all right, cool. And then middle of the night, of course, it was a different guy I deal with. This guy, I guess Rodney, called me at like 3 a.m. Hey, so what do you want to do when you get back here? I'm like, well, it depends on what you need done. He's like, well, I have a East Chat. I have a Paducah, which in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, it's like 180 miles. Fuck that, He goes, and I have like a Cookeville, which is like 50 miles from Lebanon and 80 miles back to Nashville. I said, I'll do that one. I was like, normally I'd pick one of the longer mile trips, but it's like my wife and I, we have plans this afternoon, so I'd rather just get done earlier if possible. He's like, that sounds good. All right, got you set up, and I got the return trip put on there for you. I'm like, cool. Which basically was a 53-footer to Cookeville and then a 53-footer empty back to Nashville. I said, that works. That's less work. And got off the phone and I thought, well, Roddy, I probably won't be talking to you for a while because I might not be in Nashville for a bit. So, because I'll be running out of the Kansas City hub, so it's all good, But did what I had to do, got all the trips done, parked the truck in Nashville, and then was literally sitting in my Ram. Well, first of all, I did a quick YouTube video, If you guys aren't following me, check it out. Literally, YouTube channel is at Christopher Blodgett, so feel free to follow or subscribe rather. But I was looking around the FedEx hub, the FedEx lot, whatever, and I'm not gonna lie, I got emotional, kind of got teared up a little bit because it's like I've been here for so long in Nashville in general, but like for a while I worked out of Mount Juliet, and when I switched over to the current company that I've been working with the past couple years, and came over to Nashville to actually run out of Nashville, I got emotional then too because I had been out of Mount Juliet for a couple years, and so it was hard. Just literally I texted the group chat with my wife and kids or whatever, and was like, yeah, I'm just just got the truck parked. I'm in the Ram. I'm here at the hub, just taking it all in and trying not to let it all be too heavy on me. It was like getting a little bit emotional because, you know, I know that technically I'm not quitting, I'm transferred, but it's still a big change. Sounds like from what I hear, it's like I'm not going to be working with my current boss. I'll be working with a different manager up there in Kansas City, which would be an interesting switch. We'll see if things are a little different up there. I appreciate everything my current boss did, but I'm kind of wondering if up there dealing with someone else, if things I'll get told will actually happen versus like here you're told one thing and something else happens. And it's like, I understand, I get it. It's not you, it's FedEx most of the time, probably. Sometimes I'm like, when I tell my when I tell my wife that the excuses I hear, like, oh no, it's FedEx, like this happened, whatever. My wife say bullshit, whatever. Like it's Jimmy, it's not. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think it's FedEx, but sometimes I kind of wonder if it's basically me just him just blowing smoke, whatever. So who knows? But been a interesting ride working for him and stuff, or being one of his drivers that he manages, and for the most part things haven't been terrible, so that's why I'm still here. Because like my last company I was with it for about a year. I think I came right up on my 1 year mark when they started making some big changes and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go. So I gave them like a 7-day notice, and they were like, well, you didn't give us 10 days, and so you can't come back to work for us ever again. And basically, they didn't let me work out my notice with Johnson Trucking. They kind of just, my manager, good old Jeff, when I gave him 7 days, basically called me on my way back from I had like one more run to do, and he called me when I was on my way back from picking up at Target. Basically told me like, hey, by the way, just go ahead when you get back, just go ahead and park it and go home. Like, been great working with you. I'm like, I was like, Jeff, I have like 7 days. I gave you guys notice. He goes, yeah, but we already have a guy we're gonna put on your route. So just we appreciate you, we appreciate everything you've done. Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, so basically you guys are letting me go. All right. He's like, no, we're not firing you. You gave notice. You're quitting. I'm like, yeah, but not for 7 days. So. But he's like, no. We already have a guy that's gonna run your route, and we're not firing you. Like, you're quitting. So thanks for everything. I'm like, all right, Jeff. Well, fuck you too. I was like, I figured I worked hard for you, so I'm kind of feeling like you kind of just, gave me the middle finger and you tell me like, go ahead, park it and take your stuff and go home. I'm like, all right, whatever. I was like, that's fine. I'll take the week off and then start my next job, whatever. No complaints here. So it's like, and I don't think I'll be coming back to you guys anyway with the way you guys are, dealing with this now. So, but we are, as far as like big changes and stuff and how it's not easy, we're literally like for the past like day and a half or so, because Sunday-ish, and it's like Monday night now. We're literally just been boxing stuff up, packing stuff up, getting rid of stuff, donating, whatever. I had to spend quite a bit today just working on, I dealt with getting like at least 2 of the cars, because my truck's fine. But my wife had been having issues with her Jeep, which is kind of funny because, I kind of just get a text from her, or she tells me when she gets home, hey, I'm getting this warning light about such and such, or the Jeep's overheating or whatever. I'm hoping to just cool it. Can you please check it out, whatever? Or really need to get the Jeep in. And I'm thinking like, with what money? Like, back in my mind, I'm thinking like, but why can't you just check it out? Like, why can't you look to see if you stop, cool it, whatever? But I'm like, all right, I'll look into it when I get up, when I'm, when I can or whatever. It's like, obviously we don't have the money to just get it at the shop. Can't just, do work on it, but I'll look and see what I can do. So I had to, and of course I had to check the car that's going to be my daughter's car, the Buick, the 95 Buick that we got from my parents. The battery, from what I noticed a week or so back, the battery is completely dead. Couldn't jump it. So I was like, I'm probably going to have to buy a battery, blah, blah, blah. So I knew that in order for us to travel, because we're going to put the Buick on a trailer and I'm going to tow it with the truck. But then my wife's going to drive her Jeep. I'm going to drive the truck, obviously. And so, first I dealt with the Jeep today. checked the fuses. Didn't see any blowing fuses, and looked like the coolant was really low. Like I didn't even see coolant up in that little reservoir up top. It's got a little bitty reservoir up top, which doesn't show much. Versus like when you have some trucks, you see like the full container. You see how full it is. You know, hell, I can't even see anything in my Ram. Like there's no reservoir for you to see. You just open the cap to see if you see coolant up there. But so I got first before getting the, because I knew I was gonna have to go get coolant for the Jeep. But I wanted to work on the Buick, and my initial thought was I was gonna have, because we have USAA, so I thought, or AAA rather. I thought, you know what, I'm probably gonna have AAA tow that car over to, might have been cheaper actually, but I thought, I'm gonna have AAA tow the car over towards AutoZone, and then I'm gonna buy a battery in there and have them put the battery into the car. But then, I thought, you know what, I went ahead and scheduled an appointment with AAA and had them come out, and they of course tried to jump the car. We got the car jumped, and then of course it died. And I'm thinking like, yeah, it's because the battery is just so far dead. But of course, you get people that think they're mechanic experts, and so he's like, wow, anytime that I've had, oh, that's your alternator. Like anytime I've jumped a battery and it dies right away, that's because your alternator is not charging. I'm like, yeah, I hear you, but at the same time, we have another car, the Mazda that's a storage. It was like, we had a similar issue with that. The battery is so far dead. If the battery won't hold the charge, then it doesn't matter if your alternator puts a charge on it. It's not gonna stay running. And he's like, well, no. Like literally, the alternator will charge it. It just won't hold it. I'm like, I was like, literally, when I put a new battery on the other car, it's run fine since then. It's just, if it's so far dead, the alternator, it doesn't matter if you have a good alternator or not. But I was like, all right, cool, thanks for your input. But I was like, well, so I'm thinking like if they can't jump it, then we're gonna have to tow it somewhere anyway. He goes, no, I got batteries in my truck, but it's like $225. I'm like, is that with tax or before tax? That's with tax. I'm like, okay. So I went online. I was like, well, I mean, I can get it at Walmart for a little bit cheaper, but again, it's the hassle of towing the car over there and having to put it in, save $100. Like, I was like, you know what? Go ahead and put it in now. I'll just pay you. He goes, yeah, because we don't pay you for the labor. We just charge you for the battery. I'm like, all right, cool. That's fine. Go for it. Do it. And instead of being a real quick thing, because he went to put the battery in and he apparently lost one of the bolts. Like the bolt fell down, and he's like, I didn't even hear it fall. I don't know where it is. He was like laying on the ground looking. He's like, I didn't even see it in here. Like, I'm like, well, I was like, so free service? He just starts laughing. He goes, yeah, no, not really. I'm like, I'm just kidding. I was like, well, I mean, but I didn't drop it. So he goes, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to run to AutoZone and see if I can get this bolt. I'm like, all right. So he was gone for like 45 minutes practically. I was like thinking, like, how long does it take to go 2 exits down to get a bolt? And he finally showed back up. I say, all right, cool. He literally comes over, goes zip, 2 seconds, puts the bolt on there, got his battery in place, whatever. Goes, all right, fire it up. All right, cool. So we start the car, and he's like, all right, now shut it off. I'm going to go ahead and officially do the test. Test is like, all right, everything's testing normal. Go ahead and turn it back on. All right, cool. Turn on, and he's like, all right, you're good to go. So I went ahead and, unlocked my car, tapped my phone to his little Apple Pay, whatever. Paid the $225. And of course, you're worried because, of course, like there's like slight smoke coming out from the engine when it's running. He's like, it's not good. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's been sitting for a while, so I'm pretty sure that's just either debris or leaks or whatever. It's got to burn off, whatever. So I shut it off initially when he left, and then I went back out there and I went ahead and turned the car on. I thought, well, I'm going to let it run. Just let it run idle for about half an hour. I'll keep checking the temp to see if it's overheating. Half an hour, like it literally was still blowing cold air inside, wasn't overheating. It did smoke a little bit, but it kind of like faded after a while. And then I messaged my daughter upstairs. I was like, so I'm probably going to go ahead and take the Buick out. I'm going to go and drive it. You know, because I'm pretty sure it's just that needs to burn stuff off. It needs to run. She's like, well, because she had a friend over. She said, well, me and Jinx could come out and, you know, if you're gonna go driving, we can come out with you. I'm like, all right, cool. So let's go do it. And I said, bring your dash cam, because like back for Christmas, I bought my wife and my youngest both a dash cam off TikTok, and neither of them had it put in the car yet for either of their cars. So she brought it out and gave it to me when she had to run in to get something. And so I was messing with it, getting it plugged in, getting it all, getting the memory card in there. And then I handed it to her, like, go ahead, stick this on your windshield, you know, angle it like this so that way it shows a good view up front. And of course, it apparently has a camera facing inside too. So I thought, well, that's cool. I didn't know they did that. I thought it was just a front facing camera. So we got that set up, got that running, and I was like, you know, kind of explaining to her like that way, like if there's any kind of like sudden impact, like a car hits us, it'll lock in that clip, so that way you can show it to like police afterwards, like, hey, this is what happened, like I have video of it. So I drove her car over to AutoZone with her and a friend to go ahead and get coolant for the wife's car, since I didn't see any like, you know, burned out fuses. And then we went over to Goodwill to kind of walk around and check stuff out. Didn't see anything that was like, jumped out of this or whatever. They picked out a couple things, then we got a couple drinks when we came up to check out. But and then came back home and ordered pizza, and you know, me and the wife, we watched a movie, kind of like, all right, we're gonna sit down and like put our feet up for a little bit because we're, you know, hurting like hell. And she would put another movie on, and I was like, well, hold on, pause that for right now. I ran upstairs and started like going to my closet, had a big pile of clothes all piled in the closet from the past 10 years, pulling all that out. My 17-year-old was like, I'll take hand-me-downs, you know, like if there's like shorts and or like shirts and whatnot. I was like, all right, well, I'll call you in when I go into my clothes to let you know. So I was piling clothes in the bed, like, hey, bud, come in here, and I got clothes you can go through if you want to decide what you want. She's like, all right, cool. She came in there. She's like, I like a lot of like cargo shorts that are way too small for me now. I like those belts that they're not the regular belts, but they have the two metal loops that you put the thing through, and then you bring it over the one and under the other, and that's how you secure the belt. She goes, you got a lot of these belts. I said, yeah, I prefer that over the regular belts. They're just easier. Like, you know, regular belts, if you know, they just kind of like, they dig into your waist after a while. These ones, they can kind of loosen on their own a little bit. You know, sometimes that's a bad thing. They'll loosen, I'll have to tighten it back up. But, you know, found a bunch of those. So she was going through those and picking out stuff that she wanted. And then everything else I was throwing into a big, I had one of those lawn leaf bags, the real big trash bags, kind of just, you know, bagging those up. So then I pulled my Ram up to the curb right outside our apartment, and I, you know, opened the bed of the truck because we got the cover on it now. So I took out those couple bags of clothes, and the wife had a couple of plastic bins of stuff to be donated, so put those out there, and a couple other things. So the bed's pretty full. Probably have to do one more trip tomorrow because we still have stuff to pack, but we're pretty well boxed up around here. So everything's looking good. It's probably got to do one more donation round. But fun times, you know. We're scheduled for the moving company to come on Wednesday, to be here Wednesday and Thursday to get us packed in the truck and get us moved. It's fun. You literally like, you know, doing a bunch of the stuff we've been doing. I literally messaged my wife from Goodwill. I was like, I hate moving. She's like, yep, me too. That's why we've been here 10 years and stuff, because it's like, and I was like, well, so if we move again, well, like especially if we can't buy the house we're moving to, if we have to buy another house, then I was like, I think the next moving company maybe will go ahead and say, yeah, can you guys pack for us too? Like, we'll just let you guys do it. Like, just show up and load us up and get us moved. It's like, although packing up isn't terrible. It's we're doing it, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. So my kid's friend, she was like, "Well, I want to miss you guys." We're like, "Well, we'll be here till Thursday if you still have time and want to come back out." I went ahead and reserved. There's a hotel that's literally just opened this year. That's like a block or two away from us. Went over there and basically went to the front desk and said, "Yeah, what do you guys have available on Wednesday?" Because I figured, even though our plan is our moving day is Saturday up in Missouri, so we're like, you know what? I was like, I don't want to have to plan on sleeping here at the apartment, so that way we could just go ahead and have the moving truck just like pack everything up, break everything down, get everything out of here. So I planned for us to be in a hotel close by on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll finish getting things moved out, clear the apartment out entirely, probably keep the vacuum out of the moving truck, so that way we can try to vacuum in here and make everything look somewhat cleared. Even though we figure they're gonna basically have to do a full remodel in here anyway, because we've been here 10 years, so they're gonna have to replace the carpets. The windows suck, they don't fully close, they never have. And so I'm not gonna be too worried about like spotless, because they're gonna have to come in here and do a lot of stuff anyway. So all the stuff that they need to do, we've told them about over the years, and they're like, well, yeah, well, we're not too worried about it. Or like the windows, or like the fact that they don't seal, so like heating and air conditioning kind of sucks here. There's no ceiling fans or whatever, so it's like they got a lot of upgrades they gotta do in this place. And so we're like, yeah, we're not getting our deposit back anyway. It's been 10 years. Like, we're just trying to get out of here. So it's all good. It is what it is, but my play, I was thinking about it when I was sitting here, and I was like, do I tell you guys like, hey, it's gonna be a minute before the next Storytime Friday because of us moving? But then I was like, you know what, it's probably gonna end up being the way things are gonna go with us getting out there. Probably gonna still have, basically what I was thinking was might have do this Real Talk Tuesday, and then basically Real Talk Tuesday next week, and then the Raw Chat, and then another Storytime Friday. But I was like, you know what, I've already got one recorded. I'm gonna go ahead and get it uploaded and scheduled for Friday, and then of course I gotta then do next week's Real Talk, and then I already got Raw Chat ready to go, and then just gotta get a story for next Friday, which I'm hoping once we get up there in the new house, I'll be like, all right, cool, I have downtime, let me go ahead and get a story done. But it was like, with so much to do, I'm like looking at going, man, I just haven't had time to do stuff. It's been a pain, it's really been a pain. But I'm trying to not have there be too many weeks where I'm not doing a story. And I've had quite a few weeks where I've been fine. It's just lately with trying to get ready for the move, it's like, man, I just haven't had time to do shit. So, but anyway, after this Real Talk episode tonight, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the current story I've recorded. Go ahead and get that scheduled for Friday. So then, of course, I'll be working on the next Real Talk next week, and then getting Raw Chat scheduled and going ahead and seeing if I can keep it going. But yeah, so check me out if you're on YouTube at Christopher Blodgett. Check me out, subscribe. If you're looking for any kind of passive income, whatever, like I keep talking about every week, go to passivebitcoin247.com. That's passivebitcoin, and then the numbers 2, number 4, number 7.com. Watch the videos; it'll talk all about it. Can start for as little as $100. Full units are 1,000, but you could start for $100, get a share, and that'll give you like 30 to 40 cents a day. And then if you just compound it after you have enough, get the next share for $100. That'll increase your daily income, all that fun stuff. And then eventually you'll have a full unit and just keep going. So that's what we gotta do. Just keep moving forward, keep doing what you gotta do, you know. So, anyway, on that note, um, you know what I always say, guys: keep pushing forward, keep believing, believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and do it. And within the next, obviously 2 weeks, after we get fully moved in and we're situated and stuff, things will get back to normal. It'll be the Real Talk Tuesday, the Raw Chat. Well, it'll be the Real Talk every week, Raw Chat at least every other week, unless I can start getting recordings a lot more, getting a lot more recordings a lot more frequently. And then I'll, there might be some weeks where I might do them a couple weeks in a row, but right now I'm trying to do them at least every other week. Like every 2 weeks I have a Raw Chat episode. And then, of course, Storytime Friday weekly, But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Do what you gotta do. Keep pushing forward. Keep believing. Have faith. Never give up. We only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So as long as we keep pushing forward and keep getting back up every time we fall, then we haven't failed. So on that note, you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in. And I know that I don't have a support link out there, but I'll continue putting it out there. If anybody that wants to, if you want a way to support the show, feel free to message me on send me an email, blotchshowpodcast@gmail.com. I'll send you a link for either a PayPal or a Cash App or something. If you want to support the show, but otherwise, at least all I ask is that the way you support the show is by maybe like and follow, tell your friends. It's like helping this podcast grow pretty much. So on that note, you guys have a great rest of your week. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with me every week. Thank you for, just your support in that way, just listening to me every week. And I will talk to you again on Friday when we do the next Storytime Friday. You guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you then. Have a good one.